Hello, this is Patrick, and I wanted to show you what's inside of a Masonic King James Bible. Now, lots of Masons, they'll claim that either Masonry was built on biblical beliefs, and some will tell you it's not any kind of religion at all. And, well, I'm going to prove them both wrong. While Masonry sure does get a lot of teachings from the Bible, it perverts them. So I got on eBay and got myself a Masonic King James Bible. And we'll see here, somebody had already been initiated, passed, and raised. And we'll read more about what raised means in a few minutes. Another thing about the Order of the Eastern Star, they have a satanic 5-point star, and it always has F-A-T-A-L wrote around it, and that means fairest amongst thousands, altogether lovely. You just go reading Songs 5 about who that is they're referencing. So what we have here in this video is I've picked out 25 of their 166 questions and answers pertaining to the symbolism of Masonry and its connection with the Bible. Now, like I said, there's a lot of people that'll say to you, Masonry gets most of its, or all of its concepts from the Bible. Well, out of just 25 of these, I can prove that if that's your claim, you're perverting the Word of God. And for the crowd that claims that Masonry isn't any kind of a religion at all, well, I'm also going to prove you wrong as well. So here for number 1, we have a biff. And it says, why was Hiram the builder, an ancient grand master, called a biff? A Hebrew word signifying his father. It is often used in the scriptures as a title of honor. It was given to Hiram the Tyrian builder, probably because of his distinguished skill. The scriptures refer to him as the widow's son. So if Masonry is based off of biblical teachings, why is it they ignored what Jesus said in Matthew 23 and verse 8? And Jesus said, but be ye not called rabbi, for one is your master, even Christ, and all ye are brethren. And in verse 10 again he said, neither be ye called masters, for one is your master, even Christ. Okay, so for number 4 here we have the all-seeing eye. Now, I'm sure everybody's aware that there is an all-seeing eye on the back of the $1 bill. I'm not here to talk about the conspiracy and all that. Just keep in mind, on the same dollar bill that has the all-seeing eye, it does say, in God we trust. Now, let's go ahead and examine what the Masons have written here. And they say that the source of this symbol is, it's an important symbol borrowed from the Freemasons from the nations of antiquity, or rather iniquity is what the Bible would call it. Among the Egyptians, Osiris, their chief deity, was symbolized by an open eye. Really now? So that's what we should use for the God of the Bible, huh? Sounds like Bell worship, guys. The eyes of Jehovah are in every place, beholding and watching the evil and the good. It is the symbol of omnipresent deity. But yet, you know, over there where they take that from Proverbs 15:3, it says eyes, not eye. So clearly, because they borrowed it from the nations of iniquity. Now here for number 8. For those of you that say Masonry is not a religion or any kind of religious practice, I'm going to have to say, well, your literature proves that you're lying. Because if it wasn't some kind of worship or religious practice, I don't know what else you would need an altar for. Of what importance is the altar to the lodge? The altar is undoubtedly the most important piece of furniture in the lodge. In all religions of antiquity, it was the usage of the priests and the people to pass around the altar in the course of the sun. This is to say, from the east by the way of the south to the west, singing hymns of praise to deity as part of their worship. See Greek Psalm Hall, or hymn of the praise consistent of Psalms 113 to 118. So again, don't even bother trying to tell or convince me that Masonry isn't some kind of worship or religious practice. But moreover, what's located on the altar in a lodge is, in the U.S., unless we're talking about the state of Utah, which has the Book of Mormon, in any other lodge in the U.S., you're usually going to find a Bible. But if you go overseas where there's Hindus or other beliefs, you're not going to find the Bible in their lodges. You're going to find what they consider to be holy. Like in a Muslim lodge, you're going to find a Quran. So every initiated Mason, they have an apron. It's kind of funny. So do temple-going Mormons. Anyway, they say, what is the symbolism of the apron? There is no one of the symbols of speculative Masonry more important in its teachings or more interesting in its history than the lambskin or white leather apron. Its lessons commence at an early period in the Mason's progress, and it's impressed on his memory as the first gift which he receives, the first symbol which is explained to him, and the first tangible evidence which he possesses of his admission into the fraternity. The color of a Mason's apron should be pure and unspotted white. The lamb has always been considered an appropriate emblem of innocence, and hence we are taught in the ritual of the first degree that by the lambskin the Mason is reminded of that purity of life and rectitude of conduct which is essentially necessary to gaining his admission into the celestial lodge above, where the supreme architect of the universe forever presides. Sorry, I was about to throw up a little in my mouth. Because as Christians, we call where we get to go, those of us who are saved in Jesus Christ, we call that heaven or glory land or Canaan land. Nowhere in the Bible will you find celestial lodge above or grand lodge above or whatever. And also, a name of God is not supreme ancient of the universe or is it grand architect or none of that other garbage, son. It is Lord Jesus Christ. But for some people, that's just not good enough. And if the name Jesus Christ isn't good enough for you, there's Freemasonry or the Hebrew Roots movement. Now, what I also want to touch on here is, by what they've said here, that they're claiming by Masons, by their own works, and by their lambskin cover in there, that they're going to be admitted to the celestial lodge above. Yeah, it's only by the blood that Christians are going to be going to heaven, not by putting on some lambskin apron and putting on some kind of work and show for everybody. I also want to point out two other numbers in here two other questions and answers on here that touch on this. Number 85 here we have innocence. What is a symbol of innocence? In all ages the lamb has been deemed an emblem of innocence. Hence it is required that a Mason's apron should be made of lambskin. So I guess faith isn't enough. And let's go on over here to number 96, shall we? Here we have for lambskin. What reference has the lambskin to Masonry? It is a symbol of innocence and the badge of a Mason. It is not the badge of a Christian, that's for sure. Cornerstone says, what is the symbolism of the cornerstone? The cornerstone is a stone that lies at the corner of two walls and forms the corner of a foundation of an edifice. In Masonic buildings, it is not always placed in the northeast, but this rule was not always formally observed. The symbolism of the cornerstone, when duly laid with Masonic rites, is full of significance, which refers to its form, to its situation, to its performance, and to its consecration. In Masonic symbolism, it signifies a true Mason, and therefore is the first character which the apprentice is made to represent after his initiation has been completed. So they right there for their cornerstone, it's the Masonic rites and rituals for their cornerstone. So I guess whoever's writing this stuff up, they must have not read in Ephesians 2:20 where it says, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone. Now you'll see there that they don't like to mention Jesus Christ as much as anything, and you just wait. I'll show you where they admit in this here that they just think that Jesus Christ was a teacher with some kind of secret password to get you into heaven. So for number 38. So for craft, they have, what does the word craft signify? The term applied to persons collectively in a trade or mechanical occupation. In free or speculative masonry, it signifies the whole Masonic fraternity wherever dispersed. Now, I want to go ahead and point out that usually, craft isn't spoken of very good in the Bible. And I'm just going to go ahead and quote my sources, and it does include Daniel 8:25, but also Psalms 83:3, Job 5:12, and Job 15:5. But now I want to read two of them that appear in the New Testament that have to do with craft. And one of them here is Mark chapter 14 and verse number 1. And the voice of the harpers and the musicians and all the pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman, or whatsoever craft he be, shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. So, craft isn't something that people that are Christians are supposed to be involved in for philosophy and things of that nature, because that is not going to stand when this world's on fire. And for what they have for divine truth, what is the true meaning of the lost word? Oh wow. So they claim that there's some kind of secret in salvation. The doors of Masonic knowledge. What is one of the lamentable weaknesses of Masonry? Well, it's not founded on the truth. But anyway, that the newly initiated candidate is left to shift for himself and is not instructed that there is more to Masonry than just a few grips, signs, and passwords. He has received the key, the degrees, and it is necessary, if he desires, to leave the rut of the ritualistic routine and inform himself on the nature and character of the institution, that he enter the recesses of its caverns with Masonic pick and shovel in search of the jewels hidden there, and invest himself with the rich fruits of Masonic knowledge all the days of his life. Okay then. So, the doors of knowledge, you have to sift through lies to figure out what the truth is. And really what it is you're just on a secret little game to find an open sesame word to get yourself into what they call the grand celestial lodge above. And for evergreen, what is the evergreen a symbol of? They have, it's the immortality of the soul. Now I thought for Christians that was symbolized by the cross. That's not out of the Bible. Bible-believing Christian, that's not the truth. You should know all that stuff's not the truth. Well, for immortality, they say what is immortality symbolized, or by what is immortality symbolized, and they have in speculative science the symbol of immortality is the acacia or evergreen. Jesus Christ is my symbol of immortality, guys, not that stuff or phallus symbols. Now here we have a funny word, hoodwink. Now I know you people have heard this word before, and they say, what is the symbolism of the hoodwink? It is a symbolism of secrecy, darkness, and silence. It is a mystical darkness in which the mysteries of our art should be preserved from the unhallowed gaze of the profane. By the way, that Masons, they call any unmason profane. Now, I don't know how that goes along with going into church and then calling people brother and then behind their back calling them profane in the lodge, but, whatever. Anybody that's saved by Jesus Christ, they always walk in the light. So this whole hoodwink business of secrecy and darkness, this isn't applicable to the Bible-believing Christian.